the docket. Threats to, quote, put a bullet in your head. And not one, but 2 rounds of grown men almost having a fistfight. No, I'm not describing the inner city streets of Chicago. Instead, this chaotic scene took place at the Texas State House in Austin. On their final day of session, it seems like all hell broke loose as legislators threatened each other and almost came to blows. Republican Rep. Matt Rinaldi admitted to calling ICE agents on protesters and threatening to shoot Democratic Rep. Pancho Navarez, but allegedly only in self-defense because he was assaulted and Navarez threatened his life. Really, gentlemen? This ridiculous and almost dangerous scenario gives us all a very literal image of just how polarizing and emotionally gripping the debate around illegal immigration in sanctuary cities has gotten. This insanity is a response to Texas's new law, SB 4, which demands that local police chiefs and sheriffs, under even the threat of jail or removal from office, comply with federal requests to hold criminals, suspects for possible deportations. The new law reminds us of a 2010 Arizona, quote, show me your papers measure, which allowed police to ask about a person's immigration status during routine interactions, like traffic stops. By the way, that Arizona law was eventually struck down in court. Now, I don't believe in cherry picking which laws to follow and which ones to disregard based on politics or anything else. The moment you enter our country without following our legal immigration process, you are rightly subjected to deportation. Yes, our immigration system is slow and it's expensive and it's really broken, but 2 wrongs don't make a right. So you do not get to break our laws without consequence. But this new Texas law, much like the Arizona one before it, triggers big constitutional concerns around our Fourth Amendment protections against unreasonable searches and seizures. Put simply, if skin color becomes the only test for asking for someone's immigration papers, then we are not the land our forefathers intended, and the Constitution isn't worth the piece of paper it's written on. For whichever side of this debate you find yourself, certainly as a civilized society, we are better than our lawmakers acting like criminals themselves. Certainly we can come up with a safe, constitutional, and legal way to fix our very broken and divisive immigration problem. Counselor, what are your take and prediction around the fate of SB 4?
Well, my take is that there's absolutely nothing inappropriate about being asked in terms of being identified what your immigration status is. The Supreme Court has held that it's fine. It's not the most intrusive thing, actually, that happens in a lot of interaction with police, so I think people are whipped up about it unnecessarily. It also seems to me that if you don't want to enforce the federal immigration laws, maybe states and localities ought to have some rhythm to be able to do that, but they shouldn't get federal money. That's fair. They're sovereign. They should be able to have some, I think, important degree of protection in how they govern themselves. But if they take the federal money, they got to enforce the federal law.
I'm coming to you right quick, Eric, on it, but I do want to ask you this. So if it's constitutional in your view, why do you think the Arizona law saw such challenges and ultimately was struck down because it said that it was encroaching on those Fourth Amendment protections?
The whole Arizona law was not struck down.
Not the whole thing, but...
Right, 3/4 of it. And then there was nothing that the court held that said that you can't ask somebody...
So it's not, I don't think it's the asking of the question as I understood the opinion.
Right.
I think it's how it's implemented. Like so many things, like stop and frisk. It's not unconstitutional on its face either. It's the having the reason to stop and having what's, deemed necessary. Go ahead, yes.
I love the docket. I understand where you're coming from. I even have a solution, which we talked about. I think there's a way of fixing some of the immigration problems. But you keep applying constitutionality. Let's remind everyone that these are illegal immigrants who come over here. They're not U.S. citizens. Now, they don't get the full...
They sure don't.
The full Monty of constitutional
protection. But you know who does? But you know who does, Eric? Black and brown people that are United States citizens.
Well, even illegal aliens, if you think somebody's got dope in their house and they're an illegal alien, you don't get to knock the door down. You have to go get a warrant.
The due process is one thing.
That's the Fourth Amendment.
Well, of course it is, but they don't get Second Amendment protections. There are a lot of it. They don't get to vote. So let's not apply the full Constitution to
So I wasn't.
this
I hear you, and I wasn't doing that. I'm actually talking about American citizens that might have their Fourth Amendment rights impeached by this. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think she was saying against illegal immigrants and against people that might have to stop and have their... Not necessarily. I think that the point was that it could lead to profiling where people who are citizens but who are of a certain ethnicity would be targeted for something like this. And also there's constitutional issues when it comes to separation of powers and all of that. I think that when I see something that like happened like this in Texas with a lot of the protesters having signs saying, I'm illegal and I'm staying here and you can't do anything about it. What is with that kind of attitude? Who can justify that as okay? Because there's some of these stories that you'll say, oh, okay, someone who's 26 and came here and he was 12 years old. You're 12 years old and your family's going to the United States. You're not going to say, no, Mom, I'm not supposed to. You're going to go with your mom because you're 12 years old. But as soon as you take this attitude of, like you said, taunting, what good is that doing? And that does make people angry.
Doc, let me get you in on this because some people do feel like an ends justify the means, and that's why I said in the docket, for me, two wrongs don't make a right. Our immigration system has serious problems, and it's way too hard, I think, for some people to get in here. Not all. But does that make this okay? This type of we're going to bypass it, we're not going to even pretend to follow the law?
Well, first I might say, thank God for Governor Abbott and the state of Texas for enforcing the rule of law. Sanctuary cities, the idea that you can have cities that violate the rules of the land, I mean, it's just absolutely preposterous, in fact. And I think that it's only right that states crack down on sanctuary cities, and I think Texas is leading the way here. I don't think even in liberal Europe you would have sanctuary cities existing, although you could say, Germany's been a sort of sanctuary country under Angela Merkel, but the idea that you tolerate the idea of safe havens for illegal immigrants, I think that that goes against really the very foundations of the United States, based upon the rule of law in this country. You simply cannot tolerate it.
With due respect, I'm not with you all the way on that. I mean, the states are sovereign, and that's the way it is in this system. If they want to have a policy that's more open to people of questionable pedigree in terms of their legal right to be here, that's okay with me. I just don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, but there are those who say, in your repair of that is that you pull back federal funds, right? Well, there are people who say that's unconstitutional.
Well,
that's
no,
not
you can't
fair.
have both. You have to do one way or the other.
I'm on board with you. I agree with you. Here's the other issue we have here. We want states to be we want to push our laws to the states, right? The way we do with marijuana laws. So you can't also have it both ways. Either you're going to
those are also competing.
Right.
Yeah, right now
So
there's a federal,
you have to apply one. I mean, if you're going to break the marijuana laws on a state level or a municipal level, do you also pull back federal funding from these states because they're breaking the marijuana?
I say yes, but I'd like to see the federal government doing a lot less, and the states, if they want to have these generous policies, fine, but they pay for them. Don't socialize the cost onto everybody else.
These conflicting jurisdictional issues keep coming up. The U.S. conducting its first ever test to shoot down an ICBM missile today. And the military now reporting, thank God, it's a success. What it means for the standoff with North Korea in a moment.